Hey everyone, Canadian Renegade here. Doing a video today on the bomb attacks in Sweden that have happened recently. They've been ongoing for years now, but have really escalated in the last month. And it's not something that's being widely talked about, but I think it needs to be talked about because there's lessons here for people who think that massive amounts of uncontrolled immigration are not a problem and that somehow we can just assimilate unlimited amounts of people and not have severe issues. So I'm going to read this article. It's on the MSM website. It's from the Daily Express. It says, panic in Sweden as 31 bombings rock country with one city as dangerous as Baghdad. I'm not going to read every single paragraph in this article. I'm going to kind of skim it and jump ahead, but I'll try to get the meat of it for you guys. It says, explosions in Stockholm have become so frequent in the city's estate. Yeah, they have this weirded kind of weirdly. Sorry, guys. Explosion. I'm just going to read it the way it is. Explosions in Stockholm have become so frequent, the city's estate agents are listing no bombings in their pro columns when advertising properties for neighborhoods buyers might be unfamiliar with. Already this month, there have been more than 30 bomb attacks, including a blast in which an elderly man lost his leg. Last year, a 20-year-old recently graduated teacher was killed in an explosion. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but like I said, I've heard about this before. I remember hearing about it maybe 5 or 6 years ago that Sweden had a lot of bomb attacks and grenade attacks, which I might touch on a little bit as well. But it's something that nobody seems to be talking about, or it definitely doesn't get the news you would think it deserves, because to me, Sweden is kind of like it's kind of like seeing the future, right? Like if you continue to go woke, you continue to go down that road, that's where it leads. Okay. To the average Brit, the idea that Sweden, a country associated with happiness, healthcare, ABBA, and IKEA, might be ravaged by daily acts of brutal violence in the streets is unthinkable. But since the turn of the century, the government's own reports tell a story of a nation with skyrocketing homicides, primarily driven by gun violence. I thought they had pretty good gun control in Sweden. No? And an influx of international criminals sweeping into disadvantaged areas. Only Albania and Montenegro are ahead of Sweden in the rankings of gun deaths per capita within Europe. And the city of Malmo is now classed as more dangerous than Baghdad. On Wednesday, Salwan Momika, 38, known for repeatedly burning the Quran, was gunned down in his Stockholm apartment. Now this news article doesn't cover this, but Salwan Momika was actually going to trial. He had somehow been charged, I think it might have been charged with some sort of a hate crime for burning the Qurans repeatedly. And he was to be sentenced in the next few days, I believe. And somebody, came into his apartment and killed him, shot him. It says, in a press conference following the killing, Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson told the media it was obvious that we have no control over the way of violence. He's not wrong, according to criminologists. I'm going to butcher some of these names. Ardavan Kushnud, associate professor at Lund University. The situation has got so bad, murderers in modern Sweden brazenly kill people in public. He highlighted a grisly case from 2023 when a 15-year-old boy walked into the Emporia shopping center in the southern city of Malmo and started shooting, killing a gang leader and seriously injuring an innocent bystander. He goes on, before when someone shot a gun, they tended to run away, Kirshnud said, but the Emporia killer didn't try to do anything. It just put the gun back in its pants. I don't know why it's referring to this kid as an it. Took out his phone, ordered a cab, and waited for it to come and get him. And then it says, part of the reason for being so calm, Kirshnud suggested, was that he knew because of his age, prison time, even for such a brutal offense, would be limited. And this kind of is reminding me of the catch and release that we've got going on in Canada. It also reminds me of the home invasions that I see almost, I'd say, weekly or even more frequently, most of which seem to be coming out of like the GTA type of area. But when you look at the people doing the crimes, they mostly seem to be young people. And part of the reason why that might be the case is the light sentencing that they get, even if they are caught. And I mean, also a lot of people, even older people, get out on bail almost regardless of how bad the crimes are. It says the killer convicted and sentenced to 4.5 years in a young offenders institution, which is the maximum term he was eligible to receive. Under the current laws, which the government is seeking to change, anyone under the age of 21 cannot be served longer. This, Kirshnud said, has created a situation where innocent civilians are killed and maimed by reckless acts of violence orchestrated by criminal leaders based overseas and carried out by minors. So, basically, Sweden has had a policy of letting in large amounts of refugees, which they then put on social programs. They justified it to their citizens by kind of the same reasons that we're told we need massive amounts of immigration here in Canada, that there's an aging population and we have to replace workers. We need more workers to do the work. But of course, the types of people they were letting in, a lot of them weren't doing the work. They were just living off of social programs, and their children, it seems like it's mostly their children, are now in gangs and causing massive amounts of violence. It says, most of the leaders do not even live in Sweden, Kirshnud added. They live in Turkey or Iraq, but were born in Sweden or came there at a very young age. But since the Swedish police are after them, they have decided to be based in Iraq. For example, the individuals being arrested by the police are the foot soldiers and are from 14 to 19 years of age. And I don't think I'm going to continue to read this article just because it's so long. But maybe, let's see here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, basically, I remember learning in school, I think it was in social studies in high school, about Sweden, and basically it was portrayed as a socialist utopia. It was kind of portrayed as a European country that had pretty much done everything right. They had the best social programs. Very few people slipped through the cracks. They had very good universal health care, very good education system, high incomes, high standards of living. It's kind of been like the poster child of socialism for, like I said, for a few decades it was anyways. And now, because of, basically mass immigration and socialism do not mix, because you cannot, what's her name? Margaret Thatcher kind of explained this. There's a quote from her where she said, the problem with socialism is that sooner or later you run out of other people's money. And in the case of Sweden, when they brought all of these illegal immigrants, or allowed all these illegal immigrants into the country, did not deport, right? We were just talking about that in the last video with Trump. They did not deport them. They let them stay, most of them. And, they're basically paying for these people to stay in the country. And, eventually that, backfired. And now they've got a country that is, I know I wouldn't want to live there, right? Would you want to live in a country that's had 30 bomb attacks in 30 days? And also remember that Sweden's population is only 10 million, approximately 10.5 million or so. So it would almost be like, imagine if there was 30 bomb attacks in Ontario only. Like, would you want to live there? Would that be the type of country that would be a really nice place to live? I don't think so. I am going to touch on, just to like flush things out just a little bit more. I know I'm starting to run a little longer here. They also have a lot of grenade attacks in Sweden. There's a Wikipedia article on it. Unfortunately, it doesn't go up to current day. It goes up to like 2018 or something. It says, I'm just going to read the first paragraph and I'll just kind of show you the list. It says that this crimes category is very new in Sweden and was not even logged before 2017. Yeah, and you know, that's the same thing with here in Canada, right? We hear about gun violence, but like, imagine having your own category of grenade violence. And let me guess, are grenades banned in Sweden? Maybe they should ban those legal grenades in Sweden, and that would stop the grenade violence, right? Oh yeah, that's right. They're all illegal grenades because grenades are illegal. But for some reason, criminals still have them. I wonder how that works, right? Maybe they should just ban crime next, or ban murders next or something, right? Because that always works. Bombings increased significantly in 2015 with Sweden police investigating around 100 to 150 explosions. So that's probably where I was hearing about this problem before. Let's see, there were over 30 explosions reported in the Swedish city of Malmö alone by August 2015, up from a total of 25 in all of 2020 or of 2014. By 2019, there were more than 100 explosions in Sweden. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I think there's a list. The list of noted attacks. Like, I mean, obviously you're not gonna be able to read it. It's like backwards, but that's like 1993. Those two, and then 2002 to 2012. It's right here. There's two, and then that's 2013. There's three. 2014. There's four, and then that's 2015 right there, and that's all 2015. Those are all grenade attacks. 2016, grenade attacks. Okay, so I mean, like I said, I know you can't read it, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of just how much this is. So yeah, imagine having a crime statistic that you actually track of grenade attacks, and then imagine being in a place like Canada and thinking that if we just take away legally owned guns, we're going to stop all the gun crime. Yeah, that's not going to work, guys. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say except this is like the end final destination of what happens when you have a combination of, you know, too much immigration, especially illegal immigration, and, you know, catch and release type of justice system. And you disarm the public, but of course you can't disarm the criminals because they're criminals. That's kind of like the end result. And Sweden is the perfect example of what happens when you keep doubling down on stupid. So anyways, I think that's it. I think I've gone long enough. Have a good weekend, guys. Take care.